Hello, hello, hello. This is Trina Moore, and I'm back with another episode of Coffee and Business Talk. And on today's episode, I'm actually going to be speaking about and helping nonprofits. So, the topic for today is going to be how to start a nonprofit in 5 steps. So, make sure you are tuned in, make sure you got your notes, make sure you got your coffee, make sure you got your tea, and let's get right into it. So I'm Trina Board. I'm the founder of Women in Power. Women in Power is a nonprofit organization, and what I do, I help nonprofits secure their first $50,000 in their nonprofit. And today, I'm going to tell you how you can start your nonprofit if you haven't started, if you have not started your nonprofit. Or if you just need insight on some things that you can do to help your nonprofit. I'm going to touch on that as well. So let's get right into it. The first thing you want to do when you're starting a nonprofit is you want to have a mission. Every grant application that you apply for is going to ask you for a mission statement. So you want to know, what you want to do and who you want to help. Having that mission and having a mission statement is going to be vital to having a clear message. But having that mission statement, you want to have a clear message of who you're helping, how you're helping them, where you're helping them, the age of who you're helping, if they're male or female, the demographics. All of that is very, very important. Okay, so having that mission statement, I show you how to get that mission statement. I do have one-on-one consultations available where I will show you how to write a full grant proposal. You will leave the one-on-one with a full grant proposal. So make sure you sign up for that. I will have the link available for you all if you want to schedule a one-on-one for that. The second step to starting a nonprofit is going to be knowing who you want to help. That's so important because a lot of times, well, not a lot of, I'm not going to say a lot of times, but sometimes when I'm teaching the classes for 501c3 or for nonprofits, they don't know who they want to help, or they do know who they want to help, but they're not as detailed. So, for example, if you want to, so for example, me, I help women, right? I primarily help women who are in business. The demographics, of course, starts in Charlotte, but I know exactly what states that we're in person. Even though we may not be in some states that are like where we actually have a physical location, but I know we have women all over the country. But knowing your demographics, I know primarily the age group that I help. It starts at about like early 30s to 60s. So all of those things are important because you want to know what their challenges are, what their barriers are to your service or what you're helping them to do. So knowing who you want to help, whether it's underserved women, underserved children, low income areas in the neighborhood, whatever, knowing who you want to help is important. So make sure you have who are you helping. If you want to help the veterans, that's who. Are you helping disabled veterans? That's even more particular. So that's important. Also, like I run into people, they want to start shelters. Who's going to be in those shelters? Are they going to be working mothers or trans for a transitional home? Are they going to be homeless mothers? Who are you helping? That's important. And then also that goes with knowing your program or having a program. So a lot of times, one of the ways I can catch what programs that you're offering is if you tell me what are you doing to help them, right? So for example, I know someone, they have a nonprofit, and she has a nonprofit that help with shelters, they help with educational services. So as she's naming off the things that she's doing to help them, I said, "Oh, that's a program. That's a program. Those are programs." So why do you want to have programs? Because a lot of the grants that you want to be applying for will be geared towards a program. So it may be geared towards helping you start a women's shelter. It may be geared towards helping you do a transitional home, or it may be geared towards you helping with feeding. It may be geared towards childcare. All of those could be programs. Like right now, I have a young lady, she's a member of Women in Power, and I'll post a link if you're interested in becoming a member of Women in Power. She helped children in after school programs. So her audience would be underserved children, and her program is after school program, if that makes sense. So just to kind of give you a feel of how you can come up with some programs. For example, Women in Power, we help women in business, but primarily we help African American. We help all women, but primarily a lot of African American women need help with funding. So we help, our program would be grant funding. One aspect of what we help them with, we even give out grants. Then we have another program where we helping with business credit. We have another program where we help them with them getting their first seven-figure contract through government contracting. I have another program where I help them make their first six figures in their business to replace their 9 to 5. Those are different programs, and this is how I help women. So when I'm applying for grants, now I know what to look for when I'm applying for grants or grant funders who are looking to fund women who are in business. So it may not be all of those programs, but it may be one. It may be financial literacy. Now, if it's financial literacy, now I can say, hey, this business credit program helps with financial literacy. But not only do we help them with financial literacy, we helping them build their business credit. We helping them get funding through this CDFIs that are out there to help them easily get that approval through a CDFI. So that's one program. They may have another program out there that say, hey, we want you to help with economic development. How can I help with economic development with Women in Power, right? So you just have to know the lingo. Women in Power help with economic development through helping women start businesses and help them scale their business to six figures. That's helping with the economy because now they're making more money than working on a job, right? So this is how you create those programs, and knowing who you're helping in these programs and how you're helping them, right? Knowing the problem exists is another thing. You have to know that there is a problem, and a lot of times you already know it's a problem, right? You already know it's a problem because you something that you're probably passionate about, something that you probably even went through, and this is why you're starting your nonprofit, so a lot of times the problem exists, but now you need data to back that up. Part of a grant is called the statement of need. That's one of the most important parts of your grants because they want to know it's a need, right? So it's a need. Now you just have to Google there is a need and Google the information, put it into your statement of need. And that's how you want to establish your statement of need. You also want to have data, statistical data, numbers. So you just can't say it's a problem among Black women in business and because they need funding. Okay, how do you know they need funding? Who told you they need funding? And then that's when you use Google to find out this data that they have researched. People have researched to know that Black women struggle with funding, right? So just knowing the problem exists, just trying to get the information on your federal, state, and local statistical level to back up what you're saying because I'm pretty sure it's if you've been through it and you experienced it, then it's neat. Okay. So the third thing I'm going to talk about is getting a board of directors. I think a lot of people struggle with getting a board of directors because they don't know how to pick a board. They may say, hey, I don't have a board. I can't apply for my 501c3. And that's not true. You still can do it. And I show you how to do that. How to get your 501c3. You can schedule a one-on-one with me. I'll show you how to do that. You also can become a member of Women in Power. I have a full program, a full course on how you can establish your 501c3. But having a board is important, not just any board though. You want to have a board that is very passionate about what you are doing. Someone who is say, hey, I'm willing to volunteer because I'm really passionate about what you're doing. A lot of times it's going to be like, let's just say, for example, you're doing tutoring program. Now you can find some teachers who are very passionate about maybe even a county commissioner. That will be great, right? Having a county commissioner on your board, that will be even awesome if you can do that. Because a lot of times with nonprofits, you can't have political influences or anything like that. But just knowing and getting that board of directors, you do have to have 5 board of directors, which is your president, your vice president, your secretary, your treasurer, and your executive director. You as a nonprofit founder can serve in two particular positions, which is you can be the president and the executive director. But get a board. I can give you some examples on how you can recruit your board. First thing I did was pray about it. Want to pray. Y'all know I'm Christian, and I'm not ashamed of being a Christian. But the first thing you want to do is pray. Ask God to show you your board. And once He show you your board, then you want to maybe have, I would say, like a coffee or a tea with all of them. And then this is just a cute little way to ask them to be on your board. But have like a coffee and tea or lunch, and then maybe have something under there, like a little box or something under their seat, and then ask them to grab the box and remove it, and basically be a little note in there to say, "Can you be on my board?" or whatever. This is a cute way to ask them. But someone gave me the idea on how you can ask someone to be on your board. I thought it was cute. I haven't tried it yet. I just basically just flat out asked them, "Can you be on my board?" Because God told me to ask you. So yeah, having a board of directors, that's going to be required as well. And then I do want to say with the board, you do not have to meet every single month. So some people think they may have to meet every single month. You do not have to meet every single month. You just have to be. You just have to be for your board. You just have to, according to the IRS, right? According to the IRS, you only have to meet twice a year, and that's it. That's it. You only have to meet twice a year. So just making sure you have a board of directors if you are a nonprofit. So that's the fourth step to starting a nonprofit. So no, that was the third step to start a nonprofit. The fourth step to starting a nonprofit is actually obtaining your 501c3. So you definitely want to have your 501c3. If you are a nonprofit or looking to start a nonprofit, you will need a 501c3 to apply for 99% of the grants that you're going to be applying for. You have to have a 501c3. So you definitely want to get your 501c3. One of the things that I teach and help women do is get their 501c3. I have been helping women for years. I've helped probably thousands of women get their 501c3. I actually started doing in-person classes in Charlotte at this place. They allowed me to use their space for free. It's called the Foundations for Carolinas. If you are a nonprofit, you definitely want to sign up with them and they give you free, beautiful space. You get a conference room, you get training space for free. But I started hosting my classes there years ago, y'all. And ever since I started doing the 501c3 classes, people have been just referring people over to me for getting their 501c3. But I do help you get that. That's like a must if you are a nonprofit and you want to secure grant funding. That's part of our Women Empowers membership as well. That's the only way it's offered at this point is being a member of Women Empower. You get it's already recorded. You also get access to how to get your 990. That's important because once you have your 501c3, you don't want to lose your 501c3. You want to make sure you keep your 501c3 because you can lose your 501c3 if you do not file that 990. That 990 is filed every single year, right around this time, April. So that's in there as well. It's a 990 postcard, and this is for new nonprofits that's making less than $50,000. Okay, so but you definitely want to get a 501c3. That's a must. I also have one-on-one consults available if you need help getting your 501c3 as well. So I'll post that into the YouTube for you if you want to set that up. The fifth step to starting a nonprofit is actually once you have your 501c3, once you have your board, know your program, have your mission, you definitely want to start applying for grants. What I do, I help nonprofits secure their first $50,000 or more in their nonprofit. That's what I do. So you want to start applying for those grants. You cannot apply for any grants for if you are a nonprofit unless you have a 501c3. This particular video is primarily for nonprofits. So this is not for profits. Of course, you can apply for grants if you are a business, but this particular video is going to be for nonprofits. So, like I said, 99% of the grants that you're going to be applying for, you have to have a 501c3. 501c3 is just a letter saying that you are tax exempt, where you don't pay taxes. But the fifth step to starting your nonprofit, after you have your 501c3, after you have your professional email address, is actually applying for grants. You want to get grants. You want to get grants. And there's so much money out there for nonprofit grants. It's a lot. But what I do, I help you get your first 50,000 in grants. There's steps to that. But yes, those are the 5 steps. Just to recap, you got to have a mission statement. You got to know who do you help. You got to have a program. You got to know the problem do exist, which you know the problem exists. You just have to show it with data. Get a board of directors, get a 501c3, and then next you want to start applying for these grants that are out there. All right. So make sure if you enjoyed this information, make sure that you subscribe. Make sure if you have a nonprofit, comment below your nonprofit and where you at, if you received a grant before, if you haven't received a grant before, or whatever. But comment it below, and I will talk with you all later.